Hello, dear colleagues. I'm very glad to have the opportunity of presenting this report. First of all, I'd like to thank Professor Antonio dos Reis and Professor Paulo Pinto, our hosts in Lusiada University. I represent the report about a learning environment today. Together with my colleagues from Herzen State Pedagogical University of Russia, Professor Tatiana Noskova, Tatiana Pavlova. So let us start observing the methodological aspects of a learning environment today. What should it look like? Well, today a learning environment looks like as an extension of a traditional learning environment. Unfortunately, a teacher still is being the center of a learning environment. A teacher coordinates student activities, a teacher motivates students, and a teacher involves students in the educational process. However, it shouldn't be this way. Of course, a learning environment has a much more potential it gives to education. So it should be changed. Let us observe in what ways a learning environment can be changed today. First of all, a learning environment should correspond to contemporary youth, to their educational and communicational approach, to their demands. For example, Psychological Institute of Russian Academy of Education conducted a wide-scale research in Russia, and this research was dedicated to mental, psychological, personal changes of the 21st century youth. It was found out that contemporary youth has some specific cognitive processes, and the socialization process also differs. For example, young people and children are used to live in multimedia, hypertext and hypermedia society. They operate many different sophisticated digital devices, and that is the essence of their behavior. So their behavior changes, and they demand some changes from their educational and e-learning environment. What are these changes? What are the new information requests? Firstly, young people demand new forms of knowledge representation. They would like to have vivid, briefly changing environment, multimedia and hypertext. Secondly, they would like to have new forms of educational interactions, for example, on the basis of social networking and technologies of Web 2 or even Web 3. So let us overview what requests are demanded to be changed in the e-learning environment. Of course, lifelong learning has become a worldwide trend in education. But what does it mean? It means that a learner's activities must become the center of the educational activities and the center of the learning environment, because contemporary education can't predict strictly what professional activities will be demanded from today's first-year students, for example, in 5 or 10 years. It is impossible to predict. So a student needs to be taught how to build, how to form an e-learning environment for himself or herself, how to educate oneself in achieving own educational goals. Actually, this is the requested e-learning environment. We see that in such conditions a learning environment should become a new psychological and educational essence, providing new educational effects and achieving new educational goals. And it no longer needs to be just merely an extension of a traditional environment. It should become the new essence, and paraphrasing Vygotsky, we can say that a learning environment should be not just the zone of proximal development, but the zone of actual self-development for students. Of course, it is very difficult to overview the new goals, the new educational objectives of such an learning environment. Of course, these questions are still being discussed, but here we can present several examples of master degree research results of the chair of informatization of education of Herzen State Pedagogical University of Russia. What are these examples? Our master degree students have already worked out and designed and implemented their e-learning environments for example, organizing school children collaborations during their lessons of informatics. They have already elaborated a learning environment for supplementary education, for providing the formation of intercultural competences, for example, linguistic competences, with the use of virtual excursions. Of course, these are not all the examples, but anyway, we are working on the new educational methodology, the methodology of e-learning environment. And this is merely the main idea of our scientific research. So, thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, we will be glad to answer.